Hello, and welcome to Math Extra, the show that puts you on the right path in math. I'm Miss Green, back on the set and ready to teach. Okay, you all, this is the final show of the season. We need you to focus, end the year strong, do your very best over the summer to kind of review. Nothing serious, nothing too much, just prepare for the next year. Okay, so this is how it goes on Math Extra. We'll start with the 6th grade lesson, I'll teach that, followed by a 7th grade lesson, taught by Mr. Leichner. And finally, an 8th grade lesson, taught by Mr. O'Neill. Let's get started. 6th graders, are you ready? Because we're ready to do the math on Math Extra. Okay, so today we're talking about GCF, greatest common factor, and LCM, least common multiple. Sometimes we kind of get a little confused. The best way I remember is multiples. They go on and on and on forever. And the GCF, or factors, they have a stopping point. And you're thinking about divisor when you're thinking about factors. So let's look at this one. Find the GCF of 12 and 8. Remember, we are finding the factors that evenly go into 12 and 8. Remember, we want to stay nice and neat. So let's look at 12. 1, clearly 1 times 12. 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, no. 9, 10, no. And we have 12. The way I want to look at this is what two numbers multiplied together will give me 12. So we have 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. All right, let's take a look. Remember, these are factors. Let's take a look at 8. We're thinking about factors, the two numbers multiplied together that give us the main number that we're talking about. We're talking about 8. We have 1, 2, 4, and 8. Remember, 1 times 8 is 8. 2 times 4 is 2. All right, we've listed out all of our factors. The whole purpose of this exercise is to find the greatest common factor. All right, so we have 2 is in common as well as 4. However, the greatest common factor of 12 and 8 equals 4. Let's take a look at another problem. We have 6 and 24. Now we need to think of numbers multiplied together that will equal 6. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. No, the only one will be 6, will be last. Next, let's take a look at 24. 24 is a little bit of a larger number. That means our set, or our data set that will be our factors, will probably be a little bit longer. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24. All right. Our data set here is a little bit longer, but it's perfectly fine. Let's circle all of our factors that we have in common. First, we have 2, then we have 3, and then we have 6. Remember, it's not asking for the common factors, it's asking for the greatest common factor. And that is the skill we are working on today. The greatest common factor of 6 and 24 equals 6. Alrighty, let's try another one. Now we're moving over towards least common multiple, or LCM. That is just the shortest version of least common multiple. Remember, you have to use your math intuition. There is going to come a point where you need to stop. Because remember, multiples can go on and on and on forever. Now let's review LCM, or least common multiple. Remember, multiples can go on forever and ever. In order to alleviate this issue, let's use the prime factorization tree. Let's find the prime factorization of 18 and 12. Remember, prime numbers means that it's a whole number that has only 2 factors, 1 in itself. Think about 5. 5 is a prime number. It only has two factors, which is 1 in itself. Let's take a look. So now we have 18. 2 times 9 is 18. 9 is not a prime number, so we need to break it down a little bit more. Now we have 3 times 3, which equals 9. The prime factorization of 18 is 2 times 3 times 3, okay? Now let's take a look at 12. We need to find the prime factorization of 12. 2 times 6 equals 12, and then we need to break 6 down because 6 is not a prime number, into 2 times 3. So the prime factorization of 12 is 2 times 2 times 3. Now let's take a moment and think about LCM. LCM is a little bit different than prime numbers, or excuse me, than factors. With factors, you're going to have smaller numbers. For example, if I wanted to know the factors of 12, those numbers will never be larger than 12. Those numbers will always be smaller than 12, okay? When we're thinking about LCM, or least common multiple, we're thinking about a larger number than the number that is provided to us. So we know at the very least, the least common multiple of 18 and 12 is going to be a number that's going to be larger than 18. So let's look at our prime numbers here for 18. 2 times 3 times 3, okay? We know it's going to be at least 18. Now we need to go over here and look at the 12 and look to see what numbers are already accounted for. We have this 2 over here. 2 is already accounted for, okay? We have a 3. 3 is already accounted for, okay? Remember, this 3 will always stay. We're not removing any numbers because remember, we're finding the least common multiple. It's going to be at least 18. We have to incorporate all of our prime numbers that are multiplied together. That gives us 12. What is left out is this 2 right here. So let's put it all together so it can all make sense. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. Remember, it has to be at least 18. It can be larger than 18, just not smaller. To give us our least common multiple, we need to figure out what prime number is missing from the 18, which is the 2. That means we have to multiply 18 times 2, which equals 36. Our least common multiple of 18 and 12 is 36. 36 is larger than 18 and 12, as well as its multiple of both 18 and 12. Or 36 is a multiple of 18 and 12. Let's take a look at an LCM, or least common multiple, word problem. The problem reads, 2 lights are flashing. The red light flashes every 4 seconds, and the yellow light flashes every 22 seconds. From the instant that the 2 lights flash at the same time, how many seconds will pass before the lights flash at the same time again? The same time again lets me know it's going to be an LCM word problem, okay? Think about what we just mentioned before. Multiples, they go on and on and on forever. Just like time, time is never ending. That's how you know it's a least common multiple problem. So let's take a look. We have the number 4 and the number 22. The first time that the lights flash will be at 4 seconds and 22 seconds, okay? 4 times 1 is 4, and then we have 4 times 2 is 8, times 3 is 12, times 4 is 16, times 5 is 20, times 6 is 24, times 7 is 28, times 8 is 32, times 9 is 36, times 10 is 40, and times 11 is 44. Let's stop right there and work on 22, because if you know your numbers, you kind of see what's happening now. So let's think about the multiples of 22. That's fairly easy. We have 22, 44, 66, and 88. Now we can stop. I know that the same time that they will flash again will be at 44 seconds. Right here and right here. So let's bring this all together. The problem asks how many seconds will pass before the lights flash at the same time again. Remember, this is the first time. So the light number 1 flashes every 4 seconds. It's flashing, it's flashing, it's flashing, it's flashing. Makes sense? Light number 2 flashes every 22 seconds. This is the beginning, remember? The next time it's going to flash is going to be at 44 seconds. So while this light, the second light, is turned off, light number 1 is flashing and flashing and flashing. But they're going to flash again at the same time at 44 seconds. So the answer to your problem, or the LCM, which is the least common multiple, is 44. So just remember what we've learned today. We've discussed GCF and LCM, greatest common factor and least common multiple. When you're thinking of factors, they're going to be a short data set, okay? You're going to have fewer numbers. Least common multiples, think of multiplication tables. They can go on and on and on forever. Also, if you want to know the difference, LCM has something to do with time. So when you get a word problem that has something to do with time or a calendar, time is never ending. It goes on and on like multiples. However, factors, it has a stopping point. It will end, and probably fairly soon. All right, 6th graders, thanks for spending some time with us today. As I mentioned before, finish the school year strong. Do your work, communicate with your teachers, take a little break over the summer. However, get some math review in. Start next year strong, and I'll see you soon.